Welcome to the Year of Yes podcast. I'm your host, Sam, and you might have noticed that I wasn't here last week. I was driving back from South by Southwest and I was sick. So I didn't have the energy to edit this lovely podcast. So forgive me. But I guess now I have a week of recording that I can use in the future. So all is good. So welcome to another week of the Year of Yes. This week I am joined by my lovely friend Joe LeBlanc. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Sam. I'm glad to be here.
Thank
Finally.
you. Yeah, I'm excited. So how do I know you, Joe?
Sam, oh wow. Where do we begin? How far do we go? The high level is we know each other through mutual friends.
And where were we living at the time?
We were living in Austin.
Austin, Texas.
Yep.
Yes, we've known each other for a while. We've said many yeses together, in fact. We have a
Yeah.
whole friendship of yeses and shenanigans.
Yes. Yeah.
So tell me about an influential yes in your life, Joe.
Influential yes in my life. I'll start with writing. That has been a yes in my life that has come up in multiple times, especially in my career first, and then also personally. Um, so, starting with my career, I got into open source software pretty early on. Um, I started writing about Mambo at the time, which became Joomla. Um, and that yes to writing led to a book contract that showed up one day in my email. It
How, wait. How did a
Yeah,
book contract show up in your email? Like, how were you just blogging?
yeah. um it was before I even made it as a blog. I just did it as like a web page
Mm,
basically,
oh,
and
my
I
blog.
wrote this tutorial um around how to write code for Joomla. And then I had actually gone and gotten a job that was completely unrelated to Joomla, and had gotten to the point where I was ready to quit this job and said, yes, I'm going to quit. Um, and I gave them a month's notice. And 2 weeks after I gave them notice was when this book contract arrived.
Oh, nice.
And then the final, like, well, it wasn't when the contract arrived. I'll correct myself. That's when they reached out to me, and then I had the contract on my last day of work.
No way.
Yeah,
Was it enough money to replace like part of your salary?
absolutely not. um, but I did go ahead and write that book, and after I wrote that book, um, some people from lynda.com, which is now LinkedIn Learning, reached out and asked if I wanted to do a video series with them. And that was closer to like salary type money. Um,
That's awesome.
yeah. And then I also got more work from just, doing that writing and putting myself out there. I'm picking up my writing again professionally, and I'm talking more now about how to plan your career as a software engineer or
Oh,
as
cool.
a software engineering manager.
Oh, so you're gonna come
Yeah,
out with another book
perhaps we'll see.
or a series of books.
Yeah. Yeah. So for now, I've been doing writing on Substack.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
yeah. One of the things I like about Substack is yeah, you do have the option to charge for your Substack if you want. But there's also some other features around chat, where you can kind of build a community around what you're writing and get people engaged that way.
Awesome.
I have not done that yet, but that is something I will be doing.
Cool.
It's the sort of thing where, and Sam, I think you know this just from the way that you um, organize things, and I've seen you work in the past. Is um, you want to have a good question to kick things off, and you also need to have like a good group of people
Mm-hmm.
to to do that with, and those are a couple of things that you've done. I remember you had the discussion dinners that some of them were at my house,
Mm-hmm.
and you had some really good questions around particular topics and gathered some great people to talk about it.
Yeah. Those were good yeses. Those were really good yeses.
Yeah,
That's how our group of like closest friends came to be.
yeah.
So if somebody wanted to follow you on Substack, what are you writing about these days?
A couple of the most recent articles that I have. One I wrote on hackathons that are sponsored by companies and
Hmm.
alternatives to them. And then another one that I wrote was around AI and Chat GPT,
Oh, I need to read
because
that.
yeah,
I'm
because
obsessed.
there's been this big question about like, oh, is this going to replace software engineers?
Yeah, yeah. Is it going to replace copywriters? Is it going to replace so many
Mhm.
people?
Right, right. Yeah, I had it write some code for me, um, and the code was wrong. It
See,
was
that's what I would
really wrong.
expect. I would expect something like that for
Yeah.
really technical things.
Well, I was trying to solve a problem around bus schedules
Mm.
because I love talking about urbanism, and
Okay.
that's one of my side interests.
Huh.
And so I was thinking, okay, the problem I want to solve is how much would it cost to run the bus that runs outside my house here every 10 minutes rather than every half an hour.
Okay.
It finally came up with a figure. It told me about $1.5 million per year,
Oh,
um,
wow.
which, yeah, I'm like, that's not cheap.
Yeah.
Um, but then when I ran the code, it came out to over
Oh,
$4 billion.
no. But was the formula wrong, or did it come up with a wrong answer with the right formula?
It came up with a wrong answer with the right formula,
Oh, weird.
because it started with just chatting back and forth
Mm-hmm.
around the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then I asked it, all right, turn this into a Python function.
No wonder it failed.
Yeah,
So, is this one of the things that you're writing about on Substack too?
yeah,
Okay, cool. Are you writing about more urbanism stuff on Substack as well?
yes. So I'm working on something right now, and we'll see how it turns out.
Okay, exciting.
Yeah.
Oh. And what's your
Are the
Substack? How do I find you?
It is at codelikeaninvestor.com. The idea behind Code Like an Investor is that it is very easy to get swept away by novelty in the tech world.
Mm.
There are new things coming out all the time,
Mm-hmm.
like GPT,
Mm-hmm.
and new frameworks and new libraries and languages. And you can hop on something too early, um, and it can really kind of take you by the wayside. And at the same time, if you just stay working with the same thing over and over again, you don't open yourself up to new possibilities.
Yep. And you get left behind eventually.
Yeah, and so the idea behind Code Like an Investor is let's take a look at what doesn't change as much, and put the our time investment into that.
Interesting. So I know that you have been writing for work, Joe. Have you also, and I know that you have written some things personally. Um, are you still saying yes to personal writing?
I haven't been saying yes to personal writing as much lately. Um, I think some of the things that I'm doing for work right now are eventually going to bring out some of the personal things, um, particularly around this urbanism
Mm-hmm.
stuff
Yeah, that
and
sounds
the
super interesting.
the intersection between urbanism and technology.
Maybe you can get
Um,
into like urban planning or like city planning somehow.
that's always been one of my, fantasy career, like side interest
Oh,
sort of things.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Um, but right now I am living vicariously through a YouTube channel that I really like called City Beautiful.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the guy who runs that um, actually has a PhD now, I believe,
Hmm.
in urban planning,
Awesome.
and also produces YouTube videos.
Cool. So, Joe, what do you think about my year of yes?
I think it's very Sam. I'll confess that at first I'm like, I don't do New Year's resolutions. I'm not on board with this. You do you, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I was like, okay, I don't have to think of this as a New Year's resolution. And there are some things that I could, um, some ways that I could participate in this.
And what did you decide to do?
Yes. So I have decided to cook a stir fry at least once a week.
And how's it going?
It's going really well. And what's interesting about it is that it's a little bit less about like the recipe or the stir fry itself, and it's more about the preparation.
Oh,
So I've been reading the book called The Walk by Kenji Lopez Alt, and uh, yeah, already picking up some really good tips there on technique and learning how, oh, it's not really, stir frying is not just stirring the pan around. It's like actually tossing the ingredients
mm-hmm.
in the wok. And then beyond that, there is the concept of mise en place from French cooking, but it is like very much front and center with wok cooking,
Oh, interesting.
because you need to have everything cut up, dried, ready to go.
Because it's so
Because
fast.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you gotten your walk flip down yet?
Yes. So I've mostly gotten it down. On my last stir fry, I did lose a few yellow bell peppers,
I feel like
unfortunately.
that's to be expected. I feel like
Yeah,
even in restaurants, they have things flying everywhere.
yeah,
Have you been doing it every week? Has that been happening?
I have.
Sweet. I am still waiting for a recipe to be shared on the website or the upcoming zine. I really hope that you'll submit one of your favorite recipes.
Yeah. What ends up happening, Sam, is I look in my fridge and it's like, what do I have?
Well,
And
that's fine.
so yeah. Um, maybe I will write about my cooking process.
Sure.
Um, yeah.
And I would love to know what sauces you're using and like your go-to sauces.
I really need to get back to my Asian grocery store here in Michigan, in
I'm
Grand
so
Rapids.
glad. Yeah, we never said where you are now. We just said that we met in Austin and now you're
Yeah.
living in Grand Rapids because you said yes to Grand Rapids.
I said yes to marrying my husband, and
Hmm.
he is originally from here, and we said yes to moving back, and it has been fantastic.
Yeah, do you love it?
I love it.
So, a yes to Grand Rapids was a good thing.
Yeah, yep. And now back to the urbanism. I live in a walkable neighborhood.
Yes. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh, my heart yearns for walkable neighborhoods everywhere.
we are down to one car now.
Sweet. Okay, good. Well, I too am learning, relearning, still learning Asian cooking, not using a wok, but I have so many bottles of sauces and so many condiments, so many different kinds of chili paste.
Uh-huh.
So we need to share some tips with each other.
Yeah.
So, what is one thing you think I should say yes to this year?
One thing you should say yes to. You've already said yes to a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
And yet, there's so much more.
yeah. Um, I think you should just keep doing what you're doing here with Year of Yes. And um, I think you should lean into this talent of yours of gathering people together and
Oh,
asking questions.
yeah. I would really like to revive the discussion dinners. But I also really like having this podcast and being able
Mhm.
to talk to people about their yeses that have been important in their lives.
Yeah.
It's really fun for me. I'm saying yes to a bath tonight.
Yes, that's an excellent idea.
I'm so excited. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to say is that I am thinking about saying yes to writing a book this year myself. And I just haven't decided what I should write it about. I haven't decided if it should be business focused and yeah, some sort of thing that I would sell or give away on my business website, or if it would be personal and just fun, or if I would try and do some combination of
Mm-hmm.
the two. And I really don't know how that would work. Like, I have no concept for how that would work, but somebody suggested it, and I was like, hmm, then I wouldn't have to choose.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to do with this. I'm calling the concept digital urbanism.
Oh, cool.
I'm playing around with some concepts yet and ways to present this.
Hmm.
Um, so stay tuned.
Oh, yeah. I cannot wait. I will
Yeah,
100% buy that book.
yeah.
Joe's a
I'm
really good writer, everybody. So anything that he writes, you should read. If it's too techy, okay, but his non-techy stuff is quite approachable.
I'm trying with this code like an investor to make it relevant
Uh-huh.
to people who may not necessarily be in software.
Awesome. I'm going to subscribe right now.
Excellent. And then start your Substack.
Yeah. I feel yeah. Should I start my Substack or should I figure out what I'm going to do first?
Start the Substack and start writing. Like,
Okay.
because what could happen is you start the Substack and you start writing and you realize I wanted to go in a completely different direction, and I'm glad I just got those ideas out there and give them a try. And now that's pointing me in the direction of where I want to go with something else.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to say oh, another question I had for you. Do you have like a writing schedule that you stick to or
Roughly. So my goal is to get a post out every couple of weeks.
okay. Do you write every day?
Not necessarily. I try to though. I try to carve out a little bit of time in between breakfast and when I start my day job.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I would really like to have a daily writing practice, but there are so many daily things I would like to have as a practice and I
Yeah,
how do you do it
don't
all?
don't make it daily. Make it, I've got this period of time where I'm going to carve out some time
Yeah.
within it to do some writing, and it doesn't have to be every day. But yeah, like just kind of establish the rhythm that you want for yourself, and never apologize for not having posted on your blog.
Noted. Thank you, everyone, for joining another week of the Year of Yes. And thank you to Joe for joining us this week. I love that you wanted to come on. If you guys out there want to be part of the community, you can go to yearofyespodcast.com and join the community along with me and Joe and share this with a friend. Like this video, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. All of this is very helpful for getting this out to the world because more people need yes. And until next week, keep reaching for those yeses. I just really like the reaching for the stars thing from the old like NBC. Do do do. I don't know,
Oh
reaching
yeah.
for the stars. Anyway, keep reaching for the stars, everybody, and have a great week. Bye.
Bye.